What's up, beautiful people of the internet? Today, I just wanted to talk about some oil and just a little stuff that I know about it. If you hear a humming in the background, I'm on a roof. That's a vacuum pump. There was a restriction in the high side, and I had to replace some things. You know what that means? Extra points. But whatever. Let's get on the oil. So, Donald Trump again is persisting with drill baby drill, and what do I have to say about that? So drilling more oil doesn't really solve any gas issues in America, and one of the leading problems to this is the refinery system in America. But before I talk about that, we got to talk about the fact that there's two types of oils. It's light and sweet and heavy and sour. So originally the U.S., was a major oil producer, and a lot of it was heavy and sour oil. So most of our refining system is designed to refine that. And as that oil dried up and we slowly learned how to frack back in the early 2000s, we released a lot of light and sweet oil, right? So what that means is the refining systems in America, the whole infrastructure isn't made to refine that oil. Now, so what do? We export that oil, we sell it, and then we import heavy oil. This is where you get these things where people talk about, like, why are we sending our oil overseas just to bring it back? Like, well, we're not bringing it back. We're just selling it to other countries with infrastructure to refine light and sweet oil, because our refining system is heavy and sour. Now, what's this mean? Why am I telling you this? Mostly I'm telling you this because when Donald Trump talks about lowering gas prices, I can assume that he doesn't actually know a lot about the situation, just due to the fact that he never really brings up refining. Like, if you want to do something in a meaningful capacity in terms of gas prices, you would want to build out the infrastructure to refine light and sweet oil, but we don't do that. We mostly just talk about drilling more oil, and even at that, I feel like no one understands this, and this is why I mostly land on the side of, like, there's not a lot the president can do to affect gas prices. Is that oil companies are private companies, right? Even if you allow them to drill more oil, you're assuming a lot there. You're assuming that oil companies want to drill more oil and produce more oil to drop the price, where they might be in a place where they would actually want to cut production to drive the price up. And there's not a lot the president can really do to affect that, because, again, these are private companies. You can't force them to produce unless you're going to, like, threaten nationalizing the oil companies or something, but I mean, I don't see that in America's future anytime soon. So, like, and on top of everything, over the past 4 years, we've produced more oil than anyone in the world. And gas prices remain, relatively the same. It's not so much a drilling problem as much as it's a refining problem. Like, there's refineries in California that, you could send light and sweet oil from Texas there, but they can't even do anything with it. So they import oil from, the Middle East, where they get heavy oil from. It's just more cost efficient at some point. And I really wonder what Trump's real plan is with oil, because every time he talks about economics, a lot of it is just, drill baby drill. Well, yeah, that's cool. Like, you can let more companies drill or just make it easier to drill, but that negates the fact that they might not even want to produce more oil. It's like it's against their direct interest to drive the price down. And so global oil is a complicated thing, and I don't know everything about it. Like I always say, I fix air conditioners. But just what I've learned over the years, because I've gotten in arguments about this before with people, and I've tried doing as much research as I could, mostly around, like, you know, we went to Iraq for oil, but yeah, it just doesn't ring true that you're going to drill more oil. Like, you're going to allow for people to drill more oil, and that's going to somehow bring the prices down. Because at the end of the day, the government can't control these private companies. Like, Trump can't go into the CEO's office at Exxon and be like, I need you to produce twice as much oil. The CEO of Exxon might just flat out say no. Like, we're not doing that, because that would crush the price of oil. And, you know, understand that when you have an oil well, there's a certain price that oil has to be at for that well to be profitable. Just like any business, really. There's prices things have to be for it to be profitable inside of whatever market you're working. And, you know, a lot of times, like I've said already, like, driving the price down isn't always what's best for companies. And I don't know of a lot of levers that the federal government has to, like, force this to happen. But, you know, I guess we'll see what happens. I know, like, we import a lot of oil from Canada. We import a lot of oil from Mexico. And we refine it here, you know, but now we're talking about tariffing Canada and Mexico, which would most likely drive up the price of oil, right? Like, why wouldn't Canada and Mexico use one of their main levers of leverage against us? Well, that's why I mostly fall on the side of, if there's anyone we should be friends with and not antagonistic towards, it's the Canadians and Mexicans. Like, we don't want to drive them to other markets because we're trying to get over on them on a couple pennies. Like, it just doesn't seem like a valuable strategic goal. But yeah, that's why I just mostly want to talk about oil. If you don't believe me, just go look at refining in the US, what kind of oil they do refine, what kind of oil we export, what kind of oil we drill out of the ground with fracking. And you know, you'll come to the same conclusions I came to, I would assume. Yeah. So just, you know, let me know if I missed anything. Maybe there's some more information I could put out. Love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Do your thing. I'm going to hang out on this roof till this vacuum pump's done. See if this restriction disappeared. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. No, let's hope for the best. All right? Have a good day.